Alex Otti nke atụfia akwa gị. Unu mana governor of Abia State, Governor Alex Chioma Otti. Unu mana that man were magician. Alex Otti were magician. Now, genti. Ndị nke ọzọ a ọjụ ụzọ kalụ na ndị otu ye. Ha kpọtara Rufai Hussaini nke Channels TV ka ọ bịa jụọ ya ajụjụ ka ha gbaa ya tako. Ha wụ part of the plot ha ji chi wepụ ya n'ọfịs. Genti. So, mgbe ha bịa meet ye, ha na-ajụzi Dr. Alex Otti. Ebe a ka Dr. Alex Otti no reveal ye magic ya ahụ ọ na-eme na Abia State. Mana all this project niile na ahụ na-aga on na Abia State kemgbe Alex Otti shi n'ọdịa. Oborobe 1 cent. Unu nwere idea? Oborobe 1 cent. Now, somebody na-agwa m sị m na hapụ ndị ex-governor akpọrizila ha ndị awụ elders. But achọrọ m ka m reveal some of the things ndị a na-achị Abia State. Ma Okezi Ikpeazụ, ma Theodore Orji, ma Orji Ụzọ Kalụ. Magic ha nọ na-eme for years. Mana ndị a na-enye ghost contract. Commissioner abandoned project. Even commissioner non-existent project. Na ego niile atinye na akpa ha. The example, Okezi Ikpeazụ commissioner bridge. Commissioner government house no chaba anụcha. Na ego ha atinye na akpa ya. Ọwụ ihe aka ndị a na-eme. Contract na na-eme exist anywhere. Ị na-agọta ihe aka ha nọ na-eme for years. Mana mgbe Dr. Alex Otti batara na seat, the treasury dị empty. And ha bịa keep a debt. By now, Dr. Alex Otti akwụọla debt by 60% without borrowing any other money anywhere. Gina ajụzi onwe gị, get on to this man made this magic. Now this video now, kega. Achọm ka ị gee ntị watch this video. Meanwhile data, there in a comment section, somebody will get data to watch a video. Watch this video. Give a video a share ya na all the social media platforms. Share ya na WhatsApp group ebe ndị ahụ nọ. So that our people mepe anya. Now, the reason why anyway, can mention unless more thunder name exist. Dr. Alex Otti, Chineke iwe magician. Watch this video.
Those in the opposition still say a lot of things about you. Let me tell you some of the things they say. They say you awarded the most expensive contract in Nigeria, 5-kilometer Port Harcourt road, above for 32 billion to Julius Berger, chaired by your friend. These are kind of the things they say in the opposition about you. Also hear one of it. They say you abandoned the new government house, that nothing was wrong with it, and we are right here in your village. They also talked about the fact that, you were trying to take glory for the geometric power company, when that, contrary to your public boast, that Aba is not even enjoying 24/7 power supply and the residents. And they also went ahead, to say that you abandoned the multi-specialist hospital that was done by your predecessor. So these are some of the things they say about you. I mean, what do you say to all of these things?
Well, the opposition will find something to say. Even if God was to come down to govern the state, the opposition will have something to say. So I think they are busy looking for things to say. All the issues you've mentioned are non-issues to Abia people. Geometric, of course I told the story of geometric. And I encountered geometric in my banking days. When Professor Batenaji came to me, a bit frustrated. And this was several years ago. I was executive director in First Bank. I believe that was 2009, 2010, yeah. Just before I left First Bank. And I packaged the facility to help him rescue the geometric project, because the bank, coincidentally, that was funding the project at that time, stopped because of the global economic crisis. And that bank was Diamond Bank, where I had to go 1 year after. And I packaged, if I recall, about $80 million facility. Got the approval, but he couldn't draw because the bank at that time felt that the person that understood the project was leaving, and that was me. And as I left, he came back to me in Diamond Bank. And we sat down and provided all the facilities that he required to complete the project. In fact, we completed the project before I left the bank in 2014. But one problem after another. I believe that the way God wanted it.
What about the Julius Berger contract, that I talked about, that they said you gave to your friend?
It's a joke. Julius Berger is my friend.
Yeah, they said you gave it to your friend.
Who is my friend?
These are some of the things the opposition.
Okay, so let me.
We'll always say, and
so you know what will happen?
Yeah.
I'd like you to go to Port Harcourt Road after this interview. Talk to people. That road had been abandoned for over 30 years. Nobody could fix it, except Julius Berger. And everybody knows. So if you go to Aba and make this allegation, you'll probably not come back.
I'm a journalist, I just asked the question.
No, so what it is is that it's not 5.8 kilometers. It's a dual carriageway. It is something else, and I would like you to just go there. So the allegation of the so-called opposition, because they couldn't fix it. So somebody has come to fix it. And every other person is very happy. And Julius Berger is handing over the project to me next week. And
How much did the project cost?
It has gone beyond the 30 billion.
So
it's actually somewhere about 36.5 billion now. Yeah, that's what it is.
And it's good use of money.
Absolutely. It's one of the most important parts of the Southeast, not just Aba. Okay, so virtually everything is made on Port Harcourt Road. It's a very long stretch of road.
Okay.
I would like you to see.
No, I saw part of it while we were, coming here.
No, you've not gone to Aba.
No, I'm not going to Aba.
Port Harcourt Road is inside Aba, not Aba Port Harcourt Road.
Okay.
There's a Port Harcourt Road in Aba.
Okay.
That takes you from inside town all the way to the expressway.
Okay.
Okay, so, and everybody is happy. Even the opposition is happy.
Okay. What are you doing as regards?
Okay, you also talked about government house.
Yeah, government house. Yeah,
Yes.
and the specialist hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened was that my predecessor commissioned an uncompleted building on the 28th of May.
Uncompleted building?
Uncompleted building on the 28th of May. I would also like you to see it. My people will take you to it. So, and it is supposed to be new government house. So what did he do? He completed the ground floor, finished it very well, put Italian furniture. I don't like to talk about it, but since you asked,
No, yes.
put Italian furniture in the place, painted it, and commissioned it. Okay, so the bedroom. So after the inauguration, I went there. When I looked at the ground floor, I was very happy. But as I went to the first and second floor, they were not even plastered. No sanitary fittings, nothing. So that's fraud.
Really?
Yeah. And I'd like
you
you,
going to probe
I've
him
not
for
put
that?
one dime.
No, are you going to probe your predecessor for that?
You have only 4 years. And when you get into some of these distractive things, you lose focus. I have too much work to do. Probing him is there. Of course, we called in KPMG at some point, and I'm sure you must have seen that, where they looked at one of the accounts, and they found that some 10 billion naira was drawn for a non-existent airport. So that's the only one that we are saying, bring back our money or give us the airport.
But he says he's fixed the airport, that the airport is, that things are working with the airport.
Yeah, it's Audio Airport.
Audio Airport?
We've just flagged off the construction of the Abia Airport. That's better. Probing is a waste of my time.
But the question a lot of people ask is, if you have an airport in a way, why do you need another Abia airport? That's always the argument. Does it make financial?
It's a good argument.
Does it make financial?
It's a good argument. But the truth about it is that when you go elsewhere, you'll find that in a place like Texas, how many airports do you have?
But they have
even in Houston alone.
I mean, I was in Texas. I was in Texas.
Yes.
I was in Dallas in what's it called? In January. You have the Dallas Fort Worth Airport, which is about the second, third biggest airport in America. Then you have other airports around.
Yes, you have Houston, Hobby. You have Intercontinental.
You have the economic activity to carry it. Yeah. I just came in from DC. There was Dulles. There was Ronald Reagan. There was Baltimore.
We are thinking for the future. But let me tell you. Let me tell you something.
You don't have the funds.
No, let me tell you. The airport.
You still have to borrow money. Why you building it?
The airport is not mine. It's a federal government project.
Okay. Who's funding it? Federal government?
Federal government. Okay, so let me explain how it happened.
Yeah.
So the federal government came up to say it wanted to build a few airports, I think 4 or 5. And Abia was one of them. Okay? And it was not going to be an airport, it was an airstrip that they planned. So and I went and met the president. And I said, Mr. President, the difference between an airport and an airstrip is the wrong way. So if you are going to do an airstrip in Abia, can I partner with you and make it a full-fledged airport? And he said, oh, there's no problem with that. I should go and meet the Honorable Minister for Aviation, Festus Keyamo. And I went and met him, and he didn't have a problem with that. So, and we sat down. You bring your own money. We bring our counterpart for them.
How much are you putting into it?
I'm not sure yet. But our contribution is now the wrong way.
How much is the government, federal government putting into this?
Not sure yet, too. That's the work is still going on.
So it's still in the ideation stage of the project?
No, we have flagged off, but then a lot of work is still going on.
But the money you will put into it, where is it going to come from? You have to borrow. Because the state does not have this, the
you see, you just sit down.
I know you are in the private sector.
Yeah, not just in the private sector.
Yeah, you know how to risk capital.
You know, you are going into my territory. Just leave that area for me. It's my trade secret, money.
I know.
Yeah.
You raise money.
Yeah, so...
Safe to call you Ezego in banking. King of raising money in banking.
Yeah.
But it's going to put back a deadline on the states.
Don't worry about that.
And that's what we're scared of, because most states
are
Rufai,
let me tell you something. I just saw the numbers from DMO that in 2023, they said we inherited a debt profile of 138 billion. But as at the end of last year, that we reduced it to 66 billion. We've not borrowed one time.
So how did you clear it? How did you not borrow?
Trade secrets.
Tell us about it.
No, you have to consult me and pay me some money for me to tell you.
Should I turn off the camera?
No, you pay me first. Okay, so... But they say about money, let me tell you.
The opposition keeps saying, you are borrowing, that it's a...
And then they come with the facts now, borrowing. Who did I borrow from them? If I borrowed from a bank, it will be clear. DMO will tell you.
But I will
okay, so let me also...
the figures of the airport.
Let me also go back.
Yes.
And let you know that by the time we looked at the books and the numbers, we found that it was actually 192 billion that my predecessor handed over to me as debt.
How much did it...
192.
For you in the coffers. How much did they leave as money for you to run?
So if you have money in the coffers, you wouldn't be owing. So we had netted. We had netted off. No, if you net off what is left in the coffers, we had a debt profile of 192 billion.
So he left nothing?
Absolutely nothing.
He left nothing in the coffers?
Nothing. So when you say, you need to understand, I can leave 100 naira in one account, and I'm owing 100 naira in another account. No, listen, that's how it makes sense. Yeah. Because when you say how much did he leave, you are owing money and you are leaving money. Does it make sense?
It doesn't.
Okay, so what you do is you take the total assets and remove your liabilities, and you know what the net is. And I'm saying the net he left for us was 192 billion. So if
more than what the DMO quoted?
Yes, because DMO didn't include pension areas, which we cleared off. They didn't include salary areas, which we also paid. We didn't include all the parastatals that were being owed, including Oboneano Polytechnic and then the medical personnel. So those we have taken care of. And today, I can tell you the state is running very, very well. Don't bother yourself about where I'm going to find the money, because that's my own area.
So you talked about pension areas. Part of the talking point the opposition said is they said you lied that you cleared the pension areas. And they said you also repeated that lie by 2023 that you've not cleared any pension areas. They said they employed some people into the state service before you came in, that you rooted most of them out, you pulled them out, and you said no, that these employments were not done properly. I mean, what do you have to say about all of these things?
Well, I have responded to them, but if you need me to respond, I will respond again. First of all, pension areas, some of them were... we're talking of numbers of 45 to 56 months. People were not paid. So we sat down with the pensioners and we said, okay, you are being owed this much. We need to take them out. So the leadership of pensioners sat down with us for a very long period of time, and we agreed. And by Easter last year, we paid a total of about 10 billion to pensioners to clear all the areas. So it was like you are going to pay in full and final settlement. Somebody been owing you for 56 months, no chance that you may get it. But I said, I didn't need it. I need this money in your hands. So if you were here, or if you watched, you found that the pensioners organized a Thanksgiving service. A lot of them were very happy. prudence. Okay, so one of the easiest things for me to do would have been to start building a new government house. It's not like it's very comfortable, but I know that if I use the money to put into dealing with maybe the road in Omoya, I will empower a whole lot of people who ordinarily didn't have access. So you have prudence, then you have economies of scale. What is most important? I need to sit down. As a student of economics, I have my priorities listed. So, and I know that if the man in Ariara market cannot get to the market, he cannot add to my GDP. So, he cannot add to my internally generated revenue. I know that if the woman in Bende cannot access her farm, then she's not going to be useful, not to her family or to the government. I know that if I am sick and I cannot get attention from the primary health care center, then I will be useless to the economy. And that's why when we came, we looked at the 948 primary health care centers in Abia. We went around. All of them were in a mess. And we said, okay, we'll put some 8-9 billion in the budget for renovating 200 primary health care centers in 100 days. That is happening now. By next month, it will be 100 days, and 200 primary health centers will be delivered. We will take another 200 after this one, until we get the 948. We looked at the schools. We found that a lot of our children no longer want to go to school. You see them early in the morning, hawking banana and granite, kara and all that. So I was embarrassed because I grew up here. And my parents were not rich, but I went to school. And I knew that if these children would not go to school, then they wouldn't have the opportunity that I had. And I said, okay. I wasn't even too sure what the problem was, whether it was the school fees or they just didn't want to, they wanted to make money. So and I set up a task force. I said, first of all, I said, let's know how much do we make from school fees. Go back to 2023. Go back to 2022. The numbers were almost the same. And it was nothing. And I said, if I take away the school fees, would it be an incentive for these children to go back to school? I'm not sure. I said, okay, I'll take away the school fees, but I'll set up a task force to force those.
So, have you some free education now?
Of course. I said, I will force those that don't want to go to school. Do you know what happened? I set up the task force, and I made an announcement. I said, anybody that will see of school age that was not in school, we are going to arrest him, not because we wanted to keep him. We want the parents to come so that we can exchange them with their parents. We've not got one person. In fact, the task force that we set up is now going around to ensure compliance, that there is no school where school fees are charged and that teachers are teaching. So I looked at the explosion when the announcement was made in terms of enrollment. It was so much. And we found that we didn't have teachers. And what did we do? We now said, okay, you know what? There are a lot of people. We are talking of civil servants and other. I said, a lot of people don't have jobs. If you are qualified, we opened up a portal. Please apply. We went to hire 5,000 teachers. And in 1 week, we got 17,000 applications. The second week, it climbed to 30-something thousand. And we shut the portal. We now tested them, and today, 4,600 having hired. We want to take another 4,000 so that we can fit them into those schools. We are renovating all the schools. Okay? So that's what it is. It's not rocket science. So it's just about being prudent, being deliberate, having a plan.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And keeping to it. Of course, there's another part of it that's very, very important. The people that you are working with. I don't care where you come from. I'm sure you may have heard that my head of service is from Edo State. I sit down and interview them. And when I interviewed them, and I found he was number one. I got the head of service.
Okay, so what's the primary school enrollment rate now, uptick, since this new scheme started in Abia?
I don't even, it's been crazy. I've lost count of the numbers. People are just streaming. Again, what I also found is that a lot of people are leaving the private schools to come to public schools. because of course you have the good quality, you have good teachers, we are renovating the place. And I called the commissioner for education, and I said we need to now think of what to do to the very serious private school operators, because we also don't want them to be, they also contribute to the economy.
If there's one word in your mind for the people of your state and you can speak to them now, what would that be?